Mr. Sagar Kaul is our corporate speaker for the evening, and he is the Vice President of operations at Logically. Logically is it combines advanced AI with one of the world's largest dedicated fact-checking teams to help governments, businesses, and public uncover and address harmful misinformation and deliberate disinformation, which is really required today. Before Logically, he has been a dialogue facilitator at the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. He's been a co-founder of MetaFact, a news editor at News Zulu Limited, and he's also been a director editorial with First Person News and has worked with Barcroft Media. Sagar would be speaking about fact checking, and he'll focus more on infodemic, how there's a need to cross check and identify the misinformation that has been happening of late in a tremendous manner. And he's the best expert we could hear on the topic. Thank you so much for joining. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Moniza, and thank you for having me out here. It's a privilege listening to all the eminent speakers talking about what needs to be done in order to have our media ecosystem fixed up. Someone that comes from the background of fact-checking and technology, I would start my talk by quoting what Professor Kidwai said, and that was that everyone is entitled to their opinion, but they can't be entitled to their own facts. And as an organization, as a company that works on technology to identify misinformation, that works on providing news media houses with tools to fact check, I think this is one of our core principles that we abide by, and that is that we all might have our own biases. We might believe in certain things, but then when we are working on the desk, when we are looking at content, when we are looking at misinformation and the content that is coming our way, our responsibility doubles up. We cannot have our biases seep into our fact checks. And I think this is one of the core principles that any fact-checking organization in this world is going to abide by. Having said that, I would also like to mention, which I always keep on saying, is I don't think that fact-checking is any different from how a journalist reports their news. The core is that either a journalist, either a fact-checker, unless you have not verified your facts, you have not churned that data that is coming your way, you are not going to submit your report, or we won't submit a fact check. We have completed 2 years of this pandemic, and if we just go back and see at the scale and the deluge of misinformation that was spread, it makes you see the loopholes that we have in our existing media ecosystem, that is especially news, and it gives you an opportunity to think that how going forward can these loopholes be filled. One of the things that we at Logically are trying to do at this point is having sort of partnerships wherein we can have legacy news media houses, we can have journalism schools and research institutes have partnerships with industry experts like Logically, wherein we are trying to come up with tools that is going to identify misinformation at scale. But in order for us to do that in a proper way and making sure that our machine learning pipelines are not biased, that our AI tool is not biased, we need help and support from people that are already working in this ecosystem, so that whatever use cases come our way, we are able to make that translate into our pipelines and the tool performs better. But at the same time, what this pandemic has shown us is that there needs to be an updation in the curriculum and the way journalism is being taught to students. There needs to be this implementation wherein students need to understand how to leverage these cutting-edge technologies that companies like ours and other globally are working on, and how do we get that into our day-to-day reporting, and identifying how are we able to distinguish between factually correct piece of content, factually correct piece of information that is coming our way. How do we churn out large data sets? Because when we talk about online media, when we talk about news in today's environment, as Professor Daniel said, that it's an ecosystem that is being hibernated in online space. So that means anyone with an internet connection, a social media account, can come up with a piece of content which does not need to come from, let's say, legacy media. So every person has an opportunity to become a journalist, and that's where I feel that institutes like organizations like who are into journalism training and all needs to ramp up their work, need to have more sort of partnerships wherein we can have industry experts working together with research institutes, with journalism schools at least. I'll keep it really short. I know we have some more eminent speakers coming up. Thank you from my side. Thank you.